everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a video on a very important topic that I personally love to talk about, and that is money. I feel like money is still such a taboo topic to talk about, but I wish I had a video like this in my early 20s, and I feel like it's very important to have more conversations about money. So today we're going to be talking about 10 money mistakes to avoid in your 20s. If you're new here, I'm 28, I'm a full-time content creator, and that's how I make a living now. But before this, I worked for almost 4 years in corporate jobs. So I have been working and making money for a few years now, and I'm financially independent. I'm not a finance expert or a financial advisor, but as someone who's in her late 20s and has been earning and saving for a while, I have some tips to share from both my personal experience and just things I've seen around me. Also, in case you're wondering, I just cut my finger right before filming, so that's what this is. But anyway, here are the top money mistakes to avoid in your 20s. Number 1, not living within your means. Your 20s are an exciting time. You're finally making money and you just want to have a blast and treat yourself. You want to buy nice clothes, a good car, go out for fancy dinners, go on trips and stuff like that, and there's nothing wrong with that if done within a limit. But very often we become slaves to our lifestyle. I know I have been there too, and it may sound like common sense, but you'd be surprised by how many people don't live within their means. Instead of trying to look rich, it's important to focus on growing your wealth. Understand the concept of delayed gratification. The biggest financial advantage you have in your 20s is understanding delayed gratification and resisting the urge to impress people with materialistic things. Spend less and you will find financial freedom is much more empowering and gratifying than constantly trying to keep up with others. Your future self will thank the 20-something you for this. I feel this holds true for things like weddings as well. I see so many people having such fancy weddings when they can't even afford it. If you can afford it, then great, go for it. But if not, there's really no need to go beyond your means for this. It's just one day of your life, and though it is a big day, you shouldn't be blowing up all your money on it. Number 2, not saving for retirement. Your 20s are when you start earning, so I know it feels weird to already start saving for your retirement. However, the sooner you start to save for retirement, the longer your money has the chance to grow, which means you'll have more of it when you retire, thanks to the power of compounding. Let me give you an example that I found online to explain this point. If you invest 15,000 rupees per month for 15 years, assuming a 15% rate of return, you'll end up with 1 crore rupees. But if you do the same thing for 30 years instead of 15 years, you'll end up with 10 crores, not 2 crores, not the double. So the longer you can invest, the more exponentially your money will grow. You may feel like you don't need to do it or you can't afford to save for retirement now, but in the long run, you can't afford to not save for your retirement. So keep this in mind. Number 3, not having an emergency fund. Life can be quite unpredictable and emergencies can happen to anyone at any age. I feel like in our 20s, we feel we're invincible. We think that nothing can happen to us, but you need to have an emergency fund for those rainy days. It could be anything from losing your job or having like an unexpected medical emergency or a car repair expense. In these cases, having an emergency fund can offer some peace of mind and protect you from having to go into debt to face these stressful situations. Now, the amount really depends on you and your lifestyle and how stable your job is, but it's a good idea to have around 3 to 6 months worth of expenses saved in your emergency fund, and over time you can build it up to maybe 12 months so that for a year, if something happens, if you lose your job, you have money saved. And make sure not to touch this rainy day fund for anything other than a rainy day. Number 4, not getting insurance. Now, adding to my previous point of having an emergency fund, it's also important to have an insurance plan in place. When we're young and healthy, it's tempting to not spend money on insurance, but if something bad were to happen, not having insurance can turn out to be quite an expensive affair for not just you but for your family as well. When getting an insurance, it's very important to compare various policies available so that you can make a wise choice that will benefit you and your family. One way you can do this is through Policy Bazaar, who I've partnered with for this video. A term insurance, which provides life coverage to the policyholder for a certain term of years, is a good option to get, especially if your family is dependent on you financially, whether it's your parents or spouse or kids. If something were to happen to you, then if you have an active term insurance, What it does is that your family gets a lump sum amount which gives them the financial cushion to fall back on during these tough times. On Policy Bazaar, you can compare and buy the policy that suits your needs from 20 plus insurers. You get an online discount of 5.5% and you can also find policies with low premium and high sum insured. For example, you can get a 1 crore life cover at the lowest premium rate of rupees 490 per month, which is great. You also get 24/7 claim assistance from Policy Bazaar. They offer coverage up to 80 years. We also have different rider options for additional coverage like an income benefit rider, critical illness rider which covers over 59 critical illnesses, or an accidental cover. And lastly, you can also get tax benefits under Section 80C when you're purchasing policies. So I'll leave a link in the description box below if you want to check out more details. But please do take the time to do your research and get yourself an insurance policy if you haven't already done that. On top of this, you should also consider getting medical insurance and travel insurance whenever you travel. Number 5, not investing your money. It's not enough if you just save your money and put it in your bank account and hope that the bank interest that you get will be enough, but you should get your money to actually work for you and make you more money. Like I mentioned before, the power of compounding is phenomenal and you should be smart and make use of it. When you're starting out, an SIP is a good way to go about it, where you're investing a fixed amount each month in any fund of your choice. This will also make you more disciplined with your money because you'll know you have to invest this fixed amount each month. So even if you're starting with a very small amount, even if it's just 500 rupees a month, make sure you're investing regularly because it's so important. My dad actually helps me with most of my investments. I've even done an investing related Q&A with him. I'll leave a card over here in case you want to check it out. It's a super useful video. But he's actually very knowledgeable about this topic and I've been asking him to start a YouTube channel about finance for a while now. He hasn't started yet, but maybe you can comment and ask him to start his channel so he actually does it. Number 6, not diversifying your investments. Investments can seem daunting if you're just starting off with it. There are so many different options to choose from. There are stocks, equity mutual funds, debt mutual funds, gold, real estate, cryptocurrencies, so many different options. So you have to figure out what your asset allocation should be. It's important not to put all your eggs in one basket. Your investments need to be based on your needs, not based on what everyone else around you is doing. For example, if you know that you'll need money a year from now for your education, then investing all your money in equity doesn't make sense because equity is more volatile, so it can go up or down. So you may need to invest in something more stable like a debt mutual fund. So this is a very personal decision that you have to make. It's important to have a balanced portfolio, so you have like a mix of debt, equity, like a lot of different things, and this depends on your personal needs, so you'll have to do some thinking. Also, don't follow the herd, especially without any knowledge. I know it may be tempting to invest in things like cryptocurrencies because everyone is talking about it and everyone is doing it and the returns seem great, but you may end up losing all your money if you just blindly do it without educating yourself about it first. So it's important to diversify, but do it based on your needs and don't just follow the herd. Number 7, living off credit cards. Now, credit cards can be a great thing if used the right way, and they can help you build a credit score as well, which can be useful later on in life if you need to take a loan. But if you're planning to use credit cards to fund your lifestyle without paying off your credit card debt each month, you'll end up accumulating a lot of debt and it can easily put you in a very difficult situation. So you want to avoid that. So while I do advise using credit cards, especially something with good reward points, be sure to pay off your credit card debt each month. Do your research and find the right credit card for you. Don't try to sign up for a bunch of different credit cards. Stick to 1 or 2 credit cards, I think. And a lot of times, for me, my flights and hotels are booked using credit card points, which I've just accumulated over the years by spending using my credit card. So yeah, the bottom line is credit cards can be good, but don't use it to fund your lifestyle. Get 1 or 2 credit cards with good reward points and just pay it off each month so that your debt is not accumulating. Number 8, not having a budget. Having a budget is the best way to keep your finances in check and be aware of what your income and your expenses are so that you can prevent yourself from spending beyond your means. You don't need a fancy process to set your budget. All you need is Excel. You can just create an Excel sheet and record your income and your expenses each month. If your expenses are more than your income, then obviously there's a problem. So you'll have to look for ways to reduce your expenses or ways to increase your income, or a mix of both. You could also use expense tracking apps that are available, but I just prefer doing it on Excel. And your budget should also have like a fixed percentage of income that you want to invest each month. So again, this is a very personal decision and depends on how much you make and what your expenses are like. But a good rule is to use the 50-30-20 principle. So 50% goes for your needs and your essential expenses like your food, rent, commute, stuff like that. 30% goes for your wants. So these are all your personal expenses, shopping, going out to eat, stuff like that. And the final 20% is for saving for your future. You can obviously play around with the percentage and do whatever works best for you. And if you can increase the saving percentage from 20% to higher, then that's even better. Number 9, not setting financial goals. You're not going to magically build wealth over time if you don't plan for it. This is something I'm still working on, but it's important to set specific financial goals for different parts of your life. At the moment, I've sort of set this goal for myself for the next 10 years, so that helps me work backwards and gives me an idea of how much I need to save and invest each month. Coming up with financial goals gives you targets to focus on, and it prevents you from going off track. If you want to pay off debt, buy a new laptop, or go on a trip, or save for a car, anything like that, you need to sit down and take a realistic look at how to make that happen so that you're more organized and actually working towards your financial goals. Number 10, not learning about finance. I wish this was something that we were taught in school, but unfortunately we go out into the real world with almost no knowledge about finance, saving, money, investing, taxes, and all that stuff. But thankfully, we live in a world with internet and so much knowledge that's easily available to us at our fingertips. There are also tons of good finance-related books that you could consider reading. Maybe I'll leave a list of few of those books down below. You can check it out. But yeah, take the time to educate yourself about money. Be more financially literate so that you can be more in control of your finances. So those were some of the money mistakes to avoid in your 20s. Hope you found this useful. If you want to know more about my different revenue streams and how exactly I make money, you can watch my video about that over here. Huge thanks to Policy Bazaar for sponsoring this video. Be sure to check out the link in the description to learn more about the different insurance plans they have, and I'll see you next time in another video. Bye!